So this is my version of potatoes au gratin. So that's why I called it potatoes au gratin. Get it? If you know me, you would. Here's some things you might need. So we put our olive oil in the pan and our 2 pounds of ground turkey. We're going to add our onion, our green onion, and our garlic cloves. Then we're just going to give it a little stir. Now it's time to add some sea salt, about 1/4 of a teaspoon. I love garlic, so I'm going to add some garlic powder, about 1/2 of a teaspoon. Next, we add 1/2 of a teaspoon of onion powder. And then 1/2 of a teaspoon of cumin powder. Then we're going to add some basil, 1/2 of a teaspoon of basil. Then add your 1/2 a teaspoon of paprika. So now that all of our seasonings are mixed well, it's time to add our tomato sauce. I use the Publix brand of tomato sauce because it doesn't have any MSG or citric acid, and it's gluten free. The basil and tomato flavor is the only one that doesn't have citric acid, so that's the one that I prefer to use. So we'll add 1 cup of that. So we'll put our meat and tomato sauce on a low setting and let it simmer. And while that's simmering, we can prepare our red potatoes. These potatoes have been soaked in a mixture of grapefruit seed extract and water. Potatoes are said to be healthier with the skin on for fiber reasons, but they can contain mold and bacteria. And so the grapefruit seed extract and water mixture helps to get rid of anything that may be contaminating the skin. After I soak the potatoes, I rinse them off, and then I put them in the microwave for about 10 minutes. I had about 10 to 11 potatoes, so 10 minutes should be great to help them to cook halfway. We don't want them to be too soft or too hard, because the next step is to slice them, as you see me doing now. Try not to slice them too thick or too thin, but some of them got cooked soft, so they begin to crumble. But you can slice them at your desired thickness. So now my potatoes are all sliced in an 11 by 13 inch size pan. You can see some of them were soft, so they began to crumble, as I said before. But now you can begin to spoon your meat and tomato sauce mixture onto the potatoes. Now we're going to add 4 big spoonfuls of plain yogurt. This will give your dish a somewhat of a creamy texture. Now we're going to put a generous amount of our favorite gluten-free shredded cheese and give it a good mix to make sure that the sauce, the meat, the cheese, and the yogurt is distributed evenly. Once it's all mixed up, now we're going to add more cheese on the top of the dish. Okay, so our potatoes au gratin is ready for the oven. We're going to cover it with foil and cook it for about 30 minutes on 350 degrees to make sure that all the potatoes are cooked through and our cheese is melted nicely. So our dish is ready and steaming and delicious right out of the oven. I hope that this under an hour gluten-free recipe is something enjoyable for you and your family to make and to eat. And hopefully this will make gluten-free eating more fun and flavorful. Bon appetit!